So, hello and welcome to the 22nd edition of the Trendz Talks. As you know, we started during this pandemic in a way wherein with a lot of limitations and to ensure that we are able to overcome these challenges during these times. And it is our belief that any good idea that has to reach out to all corners of the world. And that is the reason we are roping in people from different walks of life here. So we have done things on time management, stress management, yoga, pranayam. So you name it, and we are trying to bring in people from that specialty, and then trying to ensure that they are able to give us some input or insight with their experience, so that we can benefit in the future. So we are also trying to bring in people who are able to give us some guidance for career sake, especially the youth and the juniors who are playing tennis. So in that aspect, we have got Jose Maria Velasco, who is a specialty coach, and he coaches a lot of junior players. He is also a sports management expert, and he is an administrator, and he also organizes tournaments and does his coaching courses, and is spread out in different parts of the world. So he can, at any given point in time, come in and coach any specific junior or a youth team to build them up. So in that endeavor, I hand it over to him so that he can give us some guidance, and then based on which we can take up questions in the later half. So it's over to you, Jose.
Hi, good evening. Thanks for presenting me to the audience. And first of all, I want to thank you. I want to thank you and your platform, Trendz Talks, for inviting me to be with you and share a little bit of my experience and knowledge with all the people interested in hearing me. And yeah, the topic of this speech is how to build a serious player, how to build a pro player. So I will structure it in three parts. And first, I will try to talk a little bit about the traditional point of view, and it's a philosophy that it's been used for decades in trying to build pro players. Then in the second part, I will try to explain my own philosophy, my own point of view, and how things should be done. And then in the third block, let's see if I can get some questions and I can help some of the people listening to us to clear their questions, okay? So then to start, my advice for those boys, girls, environment and coaches trying to become, or in the case of coaches trying to build a tennis pro player, is that first have a look at the percentage of boys and girls trying as hard as they can to become pro players, and the percentage of success. So my experience with the best academies in Europe and United States, it's okay, we have here 200, 300 kids, and our expectations every year is trying to build at least one boy and one girl to become pro player. Yeah, but it's not like if you are at your small village and your tennis school has 100 players, and you cannot expect to build one. Why? Because it's village people, and they start from zero. They have their limitations, so the percentages become below 1% in most of cases. Only these big places receiving just only talented and with players with a lot of possibilities at the economical level and contacts and support and sponsors and everything, then have the chance, the 1%, the 1.5% of chances to become a real tennis pro. So imagine what's the percentage for a boy or a girl from a small village in India or even in Spain or France to become professional player. It's like, I don't know, point something percent. So even though you can have everything, in your favor, I mean, your family is ready for that. You have a good team of coaches. Uh, your family economy can support you and pay for everything. Still, you need a lot of things to happen, like uh, having a little bit of luck in the most important moments, good draws. You know, you have to be lucky, not suffering injuries in the worst moment possible. So it's still, even if you reunite a lot of characteristics that promise that you have the chance to become a tennis pro, still a lot of things have to happen in your favor to make it happen. So my advice is that first, all the elements involved, family, players, coaches, they all have to know that. I mean, what is the real statistics about people trying to and people achieving? Okay, being realistic is a must. So then, my advice is that have a look at the best players ever. If you look at them, like Serena Williams, I don't know, Roger Federer, Rafa Nadal, and more of them in the past, Bjorn Borg, they didn't have like a lot of coaches. I mean, they have their parents for years. They have the same coach for their whole career. So don't try to find the place where they are going to make a pro player of you. Like, one year I'm in France, next year I'm in United States, then I try in I don't know, in Germany, then I try in Sydney. And well, if you have a look at the best of the best players, the ones that had the longest careers and everything, they stick to one or two coaches and they follow their paths. So that's something that we should have in count. Then, I mean, when you choose a coach, okay, that's a little delicate to say, but we have a lot of frustrated players that, as the only way they know to survive is becoming a coach. But being a decent or good player is not going to make you a good coach of you, unless that you prepare yourself, you study, you investigate, you learn from others, you read a lot of books, you start with small guys, with the beginners. Then, I mean, to give you an example, my father was a fisherman, so he was like managing let's say a middle size boat. And one day, because I was complaining about this, and he told me, well, in my ship we have really, really good fishermen with a lot of experience, but they don't know how to swim. And both things are made in the sea. You can swim, you can fish. They are great fishers, but if they fall from the boat, they will not stand. So that means that maybe both things are made in the sea, but so for me, it's a great difference. You can be a really good player, but that doesn't make you a great teacher. So under my point of view, be sure that you hire a teacher, not necessarily a player. Yeah, their experience in competition is going to be, useful for you for sure. But if you are really young, like 12, 13, 14, you need someone to teach you. Okay, more than someone who explains his or her experience in the competition, which is also important. Then have a good career plan. That means, try to complete your development stages. Be sure that you are doing what you should do when you are 8, when you are 12, when you are 14, when you are 16. don't be too anxious for results. Results is the last part of your development, not the first. If you give like the first place to the results, a lot of things that you should learn when you're young, you're gonna miss them in the name of results, which is one of the biggest mistakes that we as coaches make, and parents and players environment. So then, after you complete the stages of your development, try to build a good calendar. That means that be sure that you play the kind of tournaments that you need to play in the places that you need to play. Be careful designing your calendar. Take a look at the statistics that you can find at the ITF website when you have the cutoffs statistics and who was there, who played, how many wildcards were there, how many nationalities were playing, if they were like, I don't know, gaps in the quali, how difficult was the quali to pass, what is the profile of the average player going to that tournament, and see if that tournament matches your needs. Normally, they start basing the calendar in their economy. And then maybe they don't follow the correct steps to get the confidence and get the ranking. They need to keep on rising in the ladder, you know. So then, and my last advice would be like, be ready to expend some money. My experience tells me that you need to be ready to invest a serious quantity of money if you want to have a chance to become tennis pro. Why? Because even though you can try to lower your budget, I mean, sacrificing comfort and other things, still you will need a lot of money. So whoever tells you that with a low budget, the rest can be like supplied with the talent and luck and everything, is not a realistic planner. So to be realistic, you have to be ready to spend a huge amount of money if you want to become a tennis player. So if your family or yourself are not ready to make that kind of expense, then you still have to think about doing something great to build a professional career in tennis. But my advice is that probably going for pro player is not your option. And that would be my advice, and that would be the first blog that I would like to talk about. Okay, what do you think? So then the second part of my speech, because it's like, okay, you told us, let's say, like the difficult, the ugly, the not the wrong, but the traditional way to, you know, to look at the tennis. I mean, that all or nothing traditional point of view where you start playing tennis, so you go for pro player, you can make it. You don't, you fail, then you didn't make it because maybe you were not in the top 100 ATP or 1890 WTA, where you can make a really good economical profit, and then you can retire it, and maybe you can say that you live on what you did when you were a pro player. Okay, but why? I mean, what does being a tennis professional mean? I mean, when you say, hello, my name is Jose Velasco and I am a tennis professional. Okay, you can see by my physical appearance that, of course, I'm not a professional tennis player. So then it means that being a tennis professional has a lot of meanings. yeah, people then say, okay, as long as you are not a tennis player, so you must be a tennis coach. Yeah, it's another option, but maybe I am a tennis coach because I couldn't become a tennis pro player, or maybe I was a tennis pro player, but after I retired, I decided to continue as a tennis coach. Okay, but so if I am managing a big facility with a lot of tennis courts plus other sports facilities like swimming pool, gym, spa, and I am in my office planning everything, how to get more members, how to get the sponsors. Then I am managing the media and everything. So, well, I'm not a tennis player and I'm not a tennis coach. Am I a tennis professional? Yes, I am. Why? I am a tennis director. I'm a tennis manager. So, okay, but then if I am a referee, I think I'm also a tennis professional. I'm not playing for a living, but I'm a tennis professional. So what happens if I travel with a tennis pro taking care of his or her trips, promotions, getting sponsorships for her, interviews, tennis, TV spots. Well, I am his or her manager, but still I'm a tennis professional. So it looks like we have different careers that we can follow, and still we need to know deeply about how the game works. But who is teaching us this? When? Where? In my tennis academy? I didn't hear about that. Maybe there's a place or two. I never heard about them. I think that if I never heard about them with my experience, which is more than 30 years, I think that it doesn't exist. Why? I don't know why. Why don't we create tennis high schools and we start with boys and girls 12 years old and teaching them a good level of English? Maybe in India that's not very, very necessary, but it's still my experience in Punjab when I was director at one of the most important academies in India, that some of our students, I'm not saying lots of them, but some of them, they didn't have a high level of English. So when we talk about technical language, we have to have at least a good level of English. If you want to play tennis at a serious level, English is a must to talk with the organizers, referees. You need English to travel around. So then, why don't we have a structure in our academies where we can learn good English if we are, I don't know, Spanish, German, Italian, Mexican? I mean, we need to talk English, but nobody's teaching us because it seems like it's something that is not necessary if you want to be a tennis professional. But then, why don't we create places where they can have an intense tennis and physical preparation, but also having a look at their regular, academical results, trying to improve their qualifications, and making serious assessment in their education and watching that they keep their best results possible in that area. So following the same sports calendar as all those that they have the only goal to become tennis pros, but still giving them the chance to become really good students, I think that's the key. once they are 16 years old, with all the stages of their development as people and as tennis players already done, maybe it's the time, these 2 years, to try intense competition and have a look at the results. And based on that results, they can decide if they go for one of these 5 or 6 options to become tennis professional. Because in their tennis high schools, they learn about the rule book, but in a deep way, not like now that they only know about what they need to play, and then 80% of the rule book and the rules and procedures they just don't know about, because okay, I'm not a referee, I don't need to know. Well, if you want to be a good player, you have to know the rule book, but nobody's teaching that. Then if you want to be a tennis manager, why you don't have like someone at your academy teaching you how to travel with a player, how to take care of their careers, how to plan a season, or how to plan, a tournament, or how to plan a deal with a potential sponsor, how to plan, I don't know, an interview on TV. And then you can also, instead of just learning how to play, okay, why don't you exactly know how it works so you are ready to teach others when you grow old? And of course, during these 2 years, if your results are like crazy outstanding, I mean, whatever you try, you accomplish it. It looks like your game has no limits. Yeah, why not? We can talk to your family, have a meeting, and say, look, results are amazing. There's no comparison with the rest of the group. We seriously think that he or she should try to keep on playing and see how far he or she can get. But still, in that case, all the students, I think they could have level enough with this serious, let's say, education to get a spot in a really decent American college. Even though they are not trying to become tennis professional players, even if they decided to become, I don't know, for instance, directors in a sports facility, okay, that only makes the difference that instead of getting a place in an American university to follow a degree of sports science, they will study a degree in sports management, because based on the results that they got between 16 and 18 years following that kind of programs, they decided that they want to become sports directors or referees or tennis coaches. Okay, they can follow a sports education degree in the United States, and after that, their own centers, they can help them to find a job or even start in the same center that they were developed, and then try, I don't know, maybe in time open their own centers. But that gives a relief to the players and the families that it's not all or nothing. They have 4 or 5 options. They know they have time to make decision. Probably the boys and the girls, they are 12, 13, 14. Still, they know they have 3-4 years to work before the moment to take a decision comes. Then it's a little bit more relaxing for that families where members, they are not in the same page, like mommy wants you to be a college student, daddy wants you to become tennis professional. So, but you're still 13 years old, so no rush. Let's follow the path. Wait 2-3 years. Give the boy or the girl all the options. Get him or her ready to follow any of the paths, teaching him the game and how the game works. And then maybe it's the moment, based in the results, to take a decision. When he or she is already 17, 18, it's a young adult. Now you can have serious talks with them. They can be reasonable. Dreams and reality start to be like different things for them. And still, no hurry, no anxiety. If you are not becoming champion in your nation, champion in your continent, champion in the junior, well, it means that it's not happening, but maybe it will in the next future. But the time to look at the results is between 16 and 18, not before. Before is the time to learn. And learning is not just learning how to play. It means that how the game works from the 4 or 5 different aspects. And maybe you discover that playing tennis, getting up at 6 a.m., going to the gym, living always on a diet, traveling 40 weeks a year, maybe it's not what you were dreaming of. But maybe being a referee, a chair umpire, being a tennis coach, or traveling with a tennis coach representing him as a manager, or working in a big sports facility and trying to make it better and better every day, make it bigger, make it more prestigious. Maybe that's what you're for. And then it doesn't mean that whatever you did on the court, on the gym, is a waste because you're not going to be a tennis player. That's what will give you the opportunity to get a sports grant in a university, and that's what your investment is for. And then, based on your decisions, you decide what degree you will follow in that university. Because we didn't forget your academics. We took care of your academics, keeping your marks, keeping the level. So that makes you a good student. So if you can play good tennis and you are a brilliant student, any university in the United States is going to welcome you. Then based on your decision, you will choose what kind of degree: sports management, sports science, sports education. You have plenty of degrees that you can study. Focus on what your decision was. And after that, you can come back to your tennis high school and say, okay, I completed my degree. Can you give me a hand in becoming an international referee to get the white badge at the ITF? Or can you help me? I want to become a tennis coach. Can you use your contacts? Can you give me a job to start even here in the place that I was built? Or I am trying to become a sports manager. Can you give me a hand? Can I start for free trying to represent some of your best players, and then I can get some experience? And I mean, that's a lot of possibilities, and that is like fading a little bit, spreading a little bit the pressure, the tension, the anxiety of 1 or 0, like pro or nothing. If you don't make it to the pro circuit, then you can become a computer analyst, or you can become electrician, you can open a restaurant, because it didn't happen. Well, maybe it's not the only option. So that's my point of view, that I think that we should start opening tennis high schools more than tennis academies. And it could be like, if me as a parent, I have 3 kids, if they give me the first option or the second, I go for the second blind. It's coming from 0.2% options to be successful to, I don't know, 70, 80, 90%. So, and if I am in the other side, like I am a tennis manager of a center, if one customer comes to my office and I can offer him like a 0.5% option of success, and what is more, customer satisfaction at the end, or I can offer him a 80% possibilities of customer satisfaction, easy to choose. I go for 80. So, because in the other one, it's like I have a 99 point something percent option of failing as, as a professional, offering something that it's almost a lottery. In the other way, easy. We just complete the stages. We go for it in a serious manner. We have the facilities, we have the team, we have the materials, we have all the preparation. It's really difficult that one boy or one girl following all that steps will not get at least somehow some kind of sponsorships in the United States. I mean, nowadays, if you're a good student and you have a decent level of tennis, you are in. And something that you can promise to a boy or a girl coming to your office with their parents, say, hi, she or he wants to be a serious tennis professional. Do we have the chance to do something here? You can honestly say yes. Right now, if you are talking about being a tennis pro player, you cannot say, yes, of course, we can make a tennis professional player of him or her in 5-6 years. Whoever is telling you that is not realistic, or that person is directly lying to you, and that's it. Okay, so that would be my speech. So if there's any questions, I'm more than happy to answer to your questions from now.
So excellent session, Jose, and it gave us a perspective as to how the tennis industry really works these times. So you run this tennis school, right, wherein you try and combine this aspect of academics and sports, wherein you try and impart this tennis knowledge of different aspects of being a coach, how to be, be able to manage or take care of their health. I mean, make sure that there is no injury, or maybe you can look into statistics as a career option, right? So you're trying to build this holistic person. However, it may be possible that when in the junior circuit, you're not able to make it, right, and become a pro from that aspect. However, do you think there would be a second chance wherein people can, later on in their career, once they finish their academic, they can look into building their career again? Because in India, specifically, we have had people with long careers. They started late, but then they have a long career. I mean, they play till they are 40 or even 45 or something like that. So, what do you think about it? Like, so, I mean, it is a expensive sport to take, and then once you're there, you're making good money too.
Well, for me, in my experience, one of the worst things that happens is that when players they realize that the pro option as a player is not going to happen. The problem is that they abandon their academic aspect of their education to have more time to go for the pro option. So what happens? It happens that they feel that they cannot follow a college degree because they didn't complete their secondary and preparatory degrees. Why? Because they were full engaged, full committed with the pursuit of the pro player career. But normally normally boys and girls, they don't make that decision. It's parents under coaches' pressure, under environment's pressure, sponsors, federations' pressure, that they are telling them, your boy, your girl is really promising great results. She's going to make it. His physical preparation, his mentality is outstanding. We are 100% sure. Okay, but they're not talking about them. They're not talking about their kids. It's easy to make a bet on somebody else's life. So the problem is not that they don't reach the level, or they are not lucky enough in the perfect moment. They are in the right place in the right moment. They don't suffer injuries that maybe stop their careers like many others. The problem is that they don't have any plan B. So I don't want anyone to get me wrong. I'm not saying that it's crazy trying to become tennis pro. So no, because that my job in the last 10 years has been easy. The profile of my players would be like 70% girls between 14 and 16 years. Being like in the best ITF positions between, let's say, 20 and 50 or 60 ITF in the world, and trying to make the step to the professional tour. And I have been trying them to do that step. So how can I say that that's crazy? That's what I have been doing. But after having a look at the common mistakes that they do in their career planning, I think I have the authority to start talking about that. So for me, one of the mistakes is that there's no plan B. Okay, first option, I get a tennis pro player. Okay, second option, is there a second option? Like, is it possible that I'm not doing it? But did you have a look at the statistics? I mean, of course, there's more than 99% of chances that you don't make it. Okay, I mean, your results right now are more than good, yes, but nobody can guarantee that you will keep that same path for 2, 3, 4 years. Maybe you stop here, and then the pro tour is too hard for you at so many levels: physical, economical, emotional level. Then you just say, I'm not going to make it. So then where's your, okay, show me what, oh, maybe I can come back home. Maybe I can start working in my family's business. Yeah, but that's what you want to do? No. Well, maybe I can become a coach. That you like coaching? You like teaching small kids? No, I don't like kids. So, hello?
So what you're essentially telling is that there is nothing to be disappointed. You need to ensure that you are able to finish schooling, focus on your education first, and then you can ensure that you're able to build your career. Because once you focus on your academics, then you're able to complete it, right? And you're not left halfway in between.
Yes, sorry to cut you. I'm so sorry to cut you. But then the problem is that in the academics, I'm not saying in the tennis schools, because we have to differentiate tennis school and tennis academy. Academy is a little bit different than tennis school. In a tennis school, you come, we teach you tennis, and then you go back home, and maybe in 2 or 3 days, you're not coming again. But tennis academy means that you live there, that you study there, that and you play and you prepare yourself to be tennis professional every day. But when you say tennis professional, everybody finishes the sentence tennis professional player, and that's it. So the difference should be that my advice, my dream is that tennis academies should start to be tennis high schools. So we teach you how to become a tennis referee. Okay, you don't like it, but when you go to school, they tell you, okay, you don't like maths, so we're not teaching you maths. Well, maybe you don't like it, but you have to deal with local councils, with political authorities, how to build a budget. Oh, but I just want to be a tennis player. Okay, but just take it, learn it, study it, and in 2, 3, 4 years, maybe you discover that that's what you want to do in the tennis industry. So after you make that decision, while playing from 16 to 18, a lot of tournaments, and then you can see your real level, and you can base your decision also in the results you have. But it's not deciding if you become a tennis pro player or something else, not related to the tennis industry. Maybe you discover 2020, they have been like really in a difficult situation because most of the tournaments, almost all of them, have been canceled, have been postponed. Then academics closing. So what happens to all that people? So it happens that they lost 1 year. So what happened if you suffer a pandemic, but you are following the other path, let's say the multi-option path? Okay, it still is like something that it's not good for your development, for sure, but then you can focus a little bit more in the other aspects of the game. I mean, and online you can learn a lot of things about the theoretical aspects of the sports, and especially about tennis. But training online, I don't see how to do it. Okay, yeah, I have done it. I mean, I have been working with some families that they were just recording on cameras, or I was making corrections. But what kind of session is that? I mean, you have to be there live. I mean, having direct contact with the players to make a decent training session. But all that students, they could focus more on other aspects of the game. I mean, studying the rule book, studying how to how to organize a tennis event, a lot of things that, okay, still they are missing some time in their education, but they have other chances, they have other stuff to study. So we cannot say that they really stop completely, but those that only have the option to play and play and play and play and play, what they are doing now is that they are locking themselves at home using some gym machines to keep somehow the physical and the muscle mass, and waiting for the activities to start again. So mostly what they did was losing time, not wasting, because it's not their fault, it's nobody's fault. But then here, I didn't want to put it as example because it's something that we all hope that it never happens again, But if you put it on the table, then the name